Hello there, this is James S. Crofty, JS1978, and it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to say that in at least one respect, Asian cinema has actually been my salvation, because the overwhelming majority of the television and movies that I saw before finally discovering great Asian cinema back in December of 2009 had always been such a crushing disappointment. Hollow and empty, because as far as I can tell, I simply don't think or perceive things in the same way as most other people, and now going back and watching the films I thought I honestly loved back before the Great Asian Cinema Awakening, as I sometimes jokingly call it, I am shocked and dismayed by how empty and meaningless, superficial, formulaic and cliched they genuinely are. After all, the vast majority of quote-unquote Western fiction, particularly movies, are linear, with a beginning, a middle and an end. They are designed to entertain and to give the people what they want. The broadly drawn stories, the paint-by-numbers characters, the convenient plot turns that bring the character around at exactly the right moment. However, the problem is that my mind simply doesn't work that way. Instead, what I need from a movie or TV program is depth in every possible sense of the word. An opportunity for my mind to question and to explore, not simply watching or being told what's happening, but needing, at least on some level, to figure it out for myself and, more importantly, to feel it for myself. This is why the silence in the Korean cinema that I adore in particular is virtually the air that I breathe. What are they thinking? What's going to happen next? You can interpret the movie in 100 different ways, and in many cases, I replay the film 1,000 times in my own mind, considering every possible angle and emotion. As a matter of fact, even now, several years after I originally saw them, my interpretation of some of the movies written and directed by Ki-Duk are still blossoming and evolving, but beyond that as well, when the bit part supporting characters in any given piece of great Asian cinema are so three-dimensional that I can spend hours imagining and playing out entire stories based around their lives, while still considering the burning questions of whether the main characters are genuinely in love, and what exactly did that small gesture mean in scene 27, while at the same time feeling the agony when the tragedy finally strikes and being moved to tears by the transcendent poetry. That is the kind of movie that I adore, crave and even require. If you're a gamer, then you may understand what I mean when I say that although this is a very crude analogy, the Asian movies which I adore, at least from my own perspective, are sandboxes, while most Western cinema, for lack of a better term, is painfully and cripplingly linear, what Yahtzee Croshaw of Zero Punctuation would describe as spunk-gargle wee-wee, carefully constructed experiences which lead you from plot contrivance to cliché and from character development to set piece, literally attempting to tell you what to feel and when, and being sure to explain everything through exposition so as not to risk leaving anyone behind, whereas in direct contrast, the greatest Asian cinema mimics real life while simultaneously creating spectacular works of art, a perfect amalgamation of what is, what we fear, what we hope for, and what we imagine, meaning that it's definitely not escapism in any sense of the term. Indeed, while most people watch movies to relax, unwind, and be entertained, not seeking to be challenged or even really to feel anything except satisfaction at the end, they have no idea how much films such as Dream or Beautiful affect me, being a cause of pain and a cause of joy. The pure and transcendental beauty of poetry, love and dreams, combined with the blunt force trauma of the darkest and most disturbing aspects of reality, heartbreak, tragedy and death which leave me an emotional wreck for weeks, and from which I will never fully recover, but at the same time remind me what it means to be human, what is truly important, and honestly give me hope. So from my perspective then, Asian cinema is a reflection of the very core of the human soul, and if you don't see or feel this, or you only seek to be entertained, then no hard feelings. I wish you all the best, and Hollywood's that way.